Hola, bienvenidos otra vez a este episodio más de Mindfood Talks y les doy la bienvenida porque en esta ocasión traigo a un especialista en lo que es actividad física. En esta ocasión nos acompaña un entrenador personal desde Australia y me siento muy contento de estar con él en esta ocasión porque pues vamos a platicar de cómo seguir con ese proceso de transformación para lograr empezar el próximo año. Así que bienvenido, James Skippen is in the house. As you know, during this month we've been talking about transformation and how can we lead our lives into fitness. So welcome and thank you very much for being here with us today.
Awesome, bro. No, it's good to be on here. Yeah, I guess the big thing, so when it comes to like a fitness transformation or like a lot of the, I guess how you get from like your starting point to where like you want to be, a big thing that I get a lot of clients do is set a lot of small goals. So like you've got your end game, so you've got your one big realistic end goal, but it's what can you do in between where you are now and your end game to like reach that goal. So I guess like what I've done with you guys from a training perspective point of view, like it might be like tracking lists for a certain amount of time so you can like you've got the data there to make sure and keep yourself accountable so that you're progressing. There's lots of different ways, man. I mean, the benefit, I guess, of like what we do from like people who are into like the fitness industry as such, what you learn through changing your body and changing your mind, you can implement into everyday life. So like, obviously when it comes to changing your body, you have to be quite conscious of your nutrition. You've got to make sure you get enough sleep. You got to make sure you get all your meals in. You got to make sure that you've made enough time to like cook all your meals. So like it teaches you time management. It teaches you like a lot of things that you can go and implement into everyday life that are going to make you better, not just physically better, but they're going to make you more productive as well. So I'd say, like I said, like it's breaking your big goal down into a lot of small goals and gradually ticking them off. I'm big on writing stuff down. If you write stuff down, you will hold yourself accountable to do it.
It's a good way to get your progress.
Yeah, and it keeps you accountable. Like if you write something down and you whack it on like a door, you wake up and you see that every single day. So like if you're getting up and you're looking at that every single day, that's going to be stuck in here. Like you've got to look at that every single day unless you take it off the wall and chuck it in the bin. So that's one of the best, like the easiest ways I could say to keep yourself accountable. Write yourself out like 3 goals for the week or 3 goals for the day. Stick it somewhere where you're going to constantly see it and be reminded of it every single day. But there's a lot of little things like that you can do.
Let me get there a little bit and break it a little bit in Spanish. So, entonces, James nos está diciendo principalmente que para poder iniciar una vida fitness y poder tener esta transformación, no solamente en la cuestión del cuerpo, sino también debemos de tener una transformación con la mente, que eso pues obviamente lo hemos venido aquí platicando en lo que es Mindfood Talks. Y también nos comenta que todo parte a través de lo que es accountability, que esto más bien viene a lo que es tener resultados paulatinamente y hacerlos de una manera progresiva. Muchas veces nos queremos hacer como que todo al jalón y queremos ver resultados de manera inmediata, pero James me está comentando que pues hay que hacerlo de una manera paulatina y sometiendo goles pequeños. James, I have a question for you. When did you start and why did you start being engaged into the fitness world?
So I've always played a lot of sport. When I was young, I played Aussie rules football for pretty much like from when I was like 5 years old to when I was like 17 years old. So I think it would have been like 2011, maybe 2010. Footy pre-season was just about to start. So I wanted to go into the gym. I wanted to get stronger. I would have been like 15 or 16 at this point. So went to the gym to get stronger for footy and then ended up like really enjoying what I was doing in the gym because you don't have to run around in 40-degree heat like you have to do in footy pre-season. So I started really enjoying my fitness training a lot more than I did football. So probably when I was about 18 years old or 17 years old that I really started focusing everything into training. and yeah, that's kind of how I got into it. So I kind of came into weight training and I guess bodybuilding as such because I wanted to do it for footy to get stronger and get better at footy. But then it turns out that I actually was better at bodybuilding. I actually enjoyed bodybuilding quite a lot more as well. So yeah, that's more or less how I got stuck into it, man.
Le preguntaba, Skippen, I'm sorry to interrupt, le preguntaba a James que cómo es que él inició, desde cuando inició la carrera por el fitness, y él me está respondiendo precisamente que inició hace 18 años cuando tuvo la idea de empezar y unirse a la liga de fútbol, y así fue como él empezó a sentirse pues atraído por lo que es el fitness, y cuando decidió tener más compromiso con el ejercicio, y cuando dijo, no, pues esto me gusta y de aquí me voy de largo. Now, James, like for example, I'm pretty sure during these 18 years, you probably faced a lot of challenges. How do you manage not to give up and not just to say, this is enough for me? How did you manage that?
To be honest, man, I've had probably more. There's probably been like off the top of my head, like 5 times where like I've felt like I could have like thrown in the towel in the past like 4 or 5 years or so. So when I tore my pec was probably the first time that I really felt like that. That's just because like all I really had at that time, like, and all my attention and effort went into bodybuilding. I was still pretty young. I was like 21 when I tore my pec, so I didn't really like
Wow.
it was kind of the end of the world for me at that kind of stage. So, but I think a lot of those things build character. So it's a lot of self-development stuff as well. Like the more shit that you go through, the stronger you're gonna get from it. And like even now, man, I still have like shitty days where like I kind of like ask myself like, fuck, why do I keep doing this? Like, is this whole thing kind of worth it? But like it's always good to look back at, I guess, like what you've overcome at the adversity that you've gone through. So if you're ever feeling down, if you're ever feeling like shitty about yourself, look at what you've achieved in the past few years. So like I said, not every day is going to be a good day. Like you're going to have days where like you wake up and like you go and train and fucking 5 kilos feels like 50 kilos and like you just
And
don't
I
have the
think,
money to do it.
I think this is when accountability comes, no?
Yeah, 100%, man. So yeah, accountability is a big thing. And that's the other thing as well. Like motivation, you know what it's like. Some weeks you're going to have an awesome week. You wake up like that, you smash out your training session. You got other weeks where you wake up, you're half asleep, you're dragging your ass for like the entire day. That's when, yeah, like you said, accountability. And that's when self-discipline comes into it. Because if you were just going to train when you feel motivated, like you might have like, you'd spend like maybe 50% of the year really, really motivated and 50% just kind of like ticking boxes. But
Yeah.
if you can keep yourself accountable and you can be disciplined towards what your goal is, that's, I guess, how I've gotten to where I'm in the industry. Not because I'm always super, super motivated or like, because I always feel like going and smashing a training session, because like I go through good blocks and I go through bad blocks like other people do. I think it's that,
It's normal.
yeah, that's self-discipline 100%. Like even all the top athletes in the world like have it. Like if you can hold yourself accountable and you can stick to your guns and stay disciplined, that's when you're really going to see yourself progress. So but yeah, like I said, if you feel like giving up, like take a step back, look at all the shit that you've done, and then just remind yourself like, fuck yeah, like if I did that, like one bad day doesn't mean a bad life. So yeah, go back and have a look at like what you've achieved in the past couple of years if you ever feel like you're having a shitty day, and then that'll make you be like, fuck, I've actually done pretty good.
Así es. So, I'm going to go through in Spanish.
Yeah, bro.
Le pregunto a James que durante estos 18 años que él ha hecho fitness, ¿cómo es que él ha hecho en esas ocasiones cuando él se ha sentido con ganas de tirar la toalla y de ya no hacer nada? Y él me está comentando que han sido muchas las veces, en efecto, que han sido muchas las veces que él se ha sentido tan mal o con esas ganas de decir, ya no quiero hacer esto, o incluso se siente con esos pensamientos de ¿para qué lo hago? Pero siempre va volteando hacia atrás y siempre va haciendo accountability sobre todo lo que ha venido trabajando y conforme el progreso que ha tenido. Entonces, comenta también James que van a haber días difíciles, como en cualquier día, como para todos van a haber días fáciles y días difíciles, pero el punto es nunca, pues, rendirse y tener esa disciplina y tener esa accountability que, pues, es lo que te hace tener la disciplina necesaria para poder seguir el camino, ¿no? James, there is, as you know, there is and a lot of information out there. Like now these days, with different applications, apps, the internet, like Google, or also TikTok now these days,
Yeah.
that where you can find a lot of information. And uh, for new beginners, or like beginners, or people who just want to start a fitness life,
Yeah.
for them might be confusing where to start. So
It is confusing, man. There's not really, the issue is there's so many different places where you can get information, and there's so many things that one thing will contradict another thing that you read. So when I was 17, 16, 17, bodybuilding.com is where I found heaps and heaps of handy articles. It teaches you about basic like macronutrients. There's basic workouts in there. I learn by doing. So like, to be honest, most of the things that I learned at the gym. So I used to watch Jay Cutler and Phil Heath, who were Mr. Olympia in 2010 and 2011 when I started watching, and I'd sit there at home and I'd watch those guys train. I'd like watch exactly what they did, how they did movements, and then I'd literally write that down. Then I'd go to the gym later that night and I'd do those exact movements that I watched them do. So um, again, you want to learn by doing, but like I said, bodybuilding.com is a really, really good website. Muscle and Strength is another really, really good website. They're both very respected websites in the bodybuilding industry. Bodybuilding.com, for someone who's new to the whole fitness scene. I know it sounds like bodybuilding.com,
yeah,
so it sounds like it's bodybuilders, but there's a lot of really, really good information on there for, like I said, like people who are starting out in the fitness industry. I mean, if you were starting out and you wanted some guidance, you could go through a coach. Like I said, like I taught myself. I learned by doing. But if you go through someone who knows what they're doing, it's going to streamline the whole process. So, I mean, it is going to cost you a couple of $100 if you go through a coach. But if they can teach you why they're making you eat, what they're making you eat, why they're making you train, what they're making you train, if you spend $250 on a coach and you gain that information, that's worth every dollar. Otherwise, you're going to spend like a year kind of like treading water in the gym and then learning your way like through like making mistakes and like learning what works. But yeah, I'd say like do your research yourself, watch some videos, take some tips, like take in plenty of information. But if you take any tip that I give you, like just spend a little bit of cash at the start, hire a coach, get them to explain why they have you doing what you're doing, and then that'll take a lot of the guesswork out of it for you.
And also I think this is a bit of your investment. You know, you're investing on you. So at the beginning, it's gonna cost. It's gonna cost, and there is no. If you are into a transformation, you have to pay the cost, and sometimes there's no way to skip it. You know, I think that's something that we have to.
Exactly like you said, man. It's a self-investment. So like, you might spend, like I said, like 250, like 300, even like $400 at the start, but like that's $400 that you're spending at the start versus like, you think how much money people have like I know when I was young, I went to sub stores and I was buying like different tubs of, spending $150 on tubs of protein.
Yeah, exactly.
When I first started training, I was spending. I ate like 3 meals a day. I was smashing like mass gainer shakes. Couldn't work out why I couldn't put on any weight. And then like went and got some advice from someone. They just said I needed to like be conscious of like eating more meat, eating more food. So I was like, all right, sweet. I'm going to make sure that I eat meat at least like 4 times a day. And went from 73 kilos to like 78 kilos and pretty quickly. 78 kilos to 80 kilos pretty quickly. And then before I knew it, I was like 86 kilos. So I would have put on like, give or take like 14 kilos in like a year just from going and eating properly. But it took me like a full year of like just doing the same thing with no different result to actually go and ask someone else for advice. And when I got the advice, I stacked on the weight like that. So yeah, like you said, self-investment. View it as a self-investment.
Le pregunto a James que cómo es que ahora ya hay mucha información ahí afuera en internet, en Google, en TikTok, ahora en estos días, y que muchas veces ahora cuando queremos iniciar una transformación o cuando queremos iniciar en el camino del fitness, pues muchas veces no sabemos ni por dónde ir. Entonces le preguntaba a James, le pregunto que cuál es, que él sugiere a estas personas o a ustedes que están emprendiendo un cambio de transformación a al fitness. Y él me está comentando que sí, en efecto hay mucha información ahí afuera, pero que él desde los 17 años, él está, pues hace sus búsquedas en bodybuilding.com, donde dice que puede, aunque suene un poco el nombre medio loco en el sentido de que va para bodybuilders, pero no, hay mucha información ahí para principiantes también, y que sin duda también pues uno tiene que invertir. Esto es una cuestión de inversión, porque a fin de cuentas es para uno mismo el beneficio, ¿no? Comenta que él al principio inició esto a prueba y error, y que muchas veces él lo lleva a una manera de experiencia, donde él mismo va probando qué sí y qué no es funcional para él. Y así se llevó un año completo desde los... How many did you start with? 70? How many did you start
I was
with?
probably about 72 kilos when I started.
72
And
kilos.
could not put on weight to save myself, and I couldn't work out why I wasn't gaining any weight. And then, I started eating a bit more. Started like going like again. When you're 17, you don't necessarily have a lot of spare cash, and you're not really motivated to go and
Yeah.
cook food or anything like that. But it came down to like, all right, well, if you want to do something with this whole like fitness thing, like you're going to have to go and spend money on food. You're going to have to learn how to cook food. So yeah, like I said, before I knew it, I was 78 kilos, and then like 2 weeks after that, I was up to 80 kilos, and my weight just kept going up because obviously when you start training, it's quite new to your body. And yeah, I stacked on size pretty quickly.
Did someone tell you, did someone tell you, or you just went by research? Like someone guide you about what to eat, or
It was a bit of both. Like it was me doing a bit more research. Like I'm pretty sure I actually like started looking up. Because when I started watching those top level pro athletes train, and like a lot of people will look at that and they'll go, "Oh, why would you watch a pro train when like obviously you're not going to try and get to that level?" But like they're the best at what they do. So like if you learn from the best at what they do, you don't necessarily need to do exactly what they do, but it gives you a good idea of like what they have to do to get to that kind of level. So I think I can remember watching a video of like either Phil Heath or Jay Cutler, like, and watching how much food they ate, and I was like, "Oh shit!" Like they're eating like 6 or 7 like meat meals a day. I was like, I ate like 1 meat meal a day, and I was like, "All right, well,
this is not enough."
I was like, well, I need to like bump that up a little bit, and then just like little things, like I was making an effort to eat like I was eating protein and cereal, which is actually funny because that's literally what I do for my post-workout meal like now, like 9 years later. So I was consciously just trying to eat more food, like just little things, man. Like I was 17 and I was cooking like a kilo of chicken at a time.
Wow.
Like I was cooking green beans, I was cooking like brown rice, which is not stuff that you affiliate teenagers with eating, but like I said, because like I wanted to look a certain way, that's what I had to teach myself how to do. So yeah.
Le preguntaba que cuánto él inició cuando él recién empezó en el mundo del fitness, y me dijo que empezó con 78 kilos, pero que a la larga él fue viendo que pues para poder aumentar su masa muscular requería de comer muchísimo más. Y le preguntaba que cuál fue la manera en la que él logró esta transformación, si mediante a la prueba y error, como él nos los venía comentando, o si de acuerdo a una tutoría o alguna mentoría por parte de algún experto. Y me comenta que de varios, pero de lo que más se acuerda él es de ver videos de ciertos atletas que él admiraba en ese entonces, y se dio cuenta que para llegar a esos cuerpos o ese volumen de músculo tenía que comer alrededor de 6 comidas diarias cuando él estaba comiendo solo una. James, which factors do you look when you make a diet program, when someone comes to you as a beginner, and what are the key factors that you check?
What I like doing, like if someone's like a really, really, really fresh beginner, I'm really big on like I could tell you what to eat and you can get results from it, but I like explaining to people why they're eating and like the difference. So like just breaking down little things. Like I like explaining to people, so in 1 gram of carbs, in 1 gram of protein, there's 4 calories. In 1 gram of fat, there's going to be 9 calories. So that's how macronutrients are worked out, and like I think that gives people a better understanding of like macros are overcomplicated, where like realistically it's just the addition of a stack of numbers added up together. So like I like explaining it because like they don't feel so overwhelmed. Like, and not only that, people feel good about themselves when they learn something new. So I'll explain them like what macronutrients are. I'll explain how many calories are in each of the macronutrients. Most people don't eat enough protein. That's what you probably find in a lot of people. And then you find also a lot of people don't eat enough carbohydrates, like especially considering how westernized our diets are these days. There's a lot of high fat, a lot of high carb foods. The quality of food's not quite as good as it is now. So, but like, let's just say you wanted to start someone off with a basic diet. You could do, this is going to be super like standard bodybuilder diet, but like if you wanted a cheap diet, you don't have a whole lot of money, you can do like oats first thing in the morning, chuck some berries in there, chuck some cinnamon in there. You can do some egg whites to get your protein. So that's your carb source, that's your protein source. For lunch, you could do 200 grams of chicken, and then you could add some like sweet potato to that, chuck some broccoli with that. That's your lunch meal covered. Everything like that. Just eat clean whole foods. Like just try and eat good food. Like don't overcomplicate it. Get in the gym 3-4 times a week. Eat clean food. Do that for a month, and then we go to the next step from there, kind of thing.
Ok, le pregunto a James que para una persona que está iniciando a hacer ejercicio, que cómo es que él, cuáles son los factores que él toma en cuenta para realizar una dieta para estas personas, para estos que están iniciando en el mundo del fitness. Y me comenta que pues no se fija mucho en la cuestión de los micros y los macronutrientes porque pues no quiere tampoco espantar con los números a los que apenas están empezando, sino más bien lo que hace es basar su alimentación en una manera pues limpia, más sin saturada en cuestión de grasas, muy limpia, una dieta bastante balanceada, donde puedan comer, desayunar sus avena con frutos rojos y plátano, y también donde pueda tener pues disfrutar de ciertos carbohidratos. Pero que a final de cuentas también esto parte mucho de la motivación, ¿no? Que es, porque la motivación siempre va a ir y venir, pero que cuando se vaya, pues tomes en cuenta que pues esto es una cuestión de disciplina y que tomes en cuenta que esto es para tu bien. James, when you get all these challenges that we were talking about, how you keep yourself motivated?
Like I said, man, motivation is going to come and go. So some days you're going to feel better than others, but I think that's why it's good to have like that end goal in mind. Not only that, man, like the thing that I've probably like learned in the past like year or year and a half is like there's a lot more to life than just going to the gym. And like when you don't stress about it so much, you actually get time to enjoy it a bit more. So yeah, like I said, like going to the gym for me, or like the fitness kind of journey kind of thing for me, I look at that as an outlet. Like I don't look at it as like perspective's a big thing. So if you look at the going to the gym, like, fuck, I gotta go to the gym tonight, I gotta train this kind of thing, versus like, fuck yeah, like I get to go to the gym tonight, like I get to like train, like, and like it sounds like funny, like trying to change your perspective, but like one thing I trained myself to do when I was really, really young was no matter what the situation, how shitty the situation was, I'd always try and find one positive in that situation. So, which when I tore my pec, like that was really fucking hard to find a positive in that situation. Like I said, being 21, had the whole year ahead of me, and I literally tore my pec in like January or something like that. So that was like pretty much that whole year wiped out for me. So I did struggle to find the positive there, but like the positive came, I was like, all right, well, you fucking can't train chest for like 6 months, your legs are going to grow kind of thing. So like as funny as it sounds, like finding that one positive, that was one thing that I was able to like hold on to for like a couple of weeks, and it got me through some shitty times. So
I think that's a good trick, to look into the positive things. Like, give me one positive thing out of what am I doing. I think I didn't think about it, but it's a good way to start.
And like it's quite I think it's probably one of my best traits that I've got, that like no matter how shitty a situation is that I find myself in, there's at least like one positive that I can find out of that situation. So yeah, that's I think if you are someone who struggles with that kind of thing, like, and you do like find yourself being like, why am I doing this? Like, because like I said, I've got clients as well who go through the same thing. I've got one client who like every 3 months will message me and be like, nah, bro, like I think I'm done with this. Like I'm going to go and join F45, this, that. And like, they're the kind of people that you need to like, it's who you surround yourself with as well. Like he's got me to bounce off, and I always like pump him up and make sure that he doesn't give up on the gym and go to F45 or anything like that. But surround yourself with good people. But like I said, if you ever do find yourself being negative or something shitty happens in your life, like sit down and literally be like, all right, what's the one positive out of this situation? Find one positive and literally be like, all right,
And
10
go.
things went wrong, one thing went right. So one
Ujú.
thing went right. So focus on the one thing that goes right.
Le pregunto a James que cuál, durante estos, pues estas complejidades que ha pasado para, pues, y que en las que muchas veces ha decidido decir, ya basta, ya no quiero seguir con esto, ¿cómo le ha hecho él para, pues, seguir motivado? Y él comenta que, pues, la única manera para poder seguir motivado es que a los 21 años, cuando él pasó por una situación medio complicada, decidió que no importara cuál era la situación que él estuviera enfrentando, él iba a ver al menos una situación positiva que esto le trajera y enfocarse en esa situación positiva. Entonces, él sugiere que cuando estés por perder la motivación, te enfoques en esa situación positiva, al menos una situación positiva, y que veas hacia ese camino. Te dirijas y lo fijes bien como meta para que pues no pierdas esa motivación y que de alguna manera pues recuperes el hábito, porque siempre van a haber días buenos, siempre van a haber días malos, pero pues el punto aquí es fijarse que a pesar de todo, siempre hay algo bueno en cualquiera de estas circunstancias. And James, how physical activity can impact their lives in order to
Man,
have this transformation?
yeah, man, it's going to make a massive difference. It's not just a physical transformation as well. It's a mental transformation that you go through as well. Like it sounds really hippie to be like it's a journey that you go on, but like it really is like one of the most rewarding things that I have seen and that I do from a coaching point of view is not just seeing people physically change, but you see them come alive and you see them become more confident. Like I used to personal train out of a gym in Sydney, and I trained a lot of female clients in there, and like just like the little things, like I had a 63-year-old client who used to, when he started with me, like used to come into the gym, like friendly dude, but like he always was like obviously pretty tired when he came into the gym because he was working like 8-hour days as a delivery driver. But yeah, we got his hormones nice and fixed up, got his diet fixed up, and one of the most rewarding things still to this day was seeing him like pop in the gym, smiling on his face. Like he'd get there like 20 minutes before our session to like go and train and warm up because he was enjoying training so much. So like that's what I mean. Like it fully it doesn't just transform your body. It transforms your mind as well. Like the endorphin release that you get from training, like you don't understand how good you can feel until
Try.
you like mentally, yeah, like you said, until you try it. But yeah, you don't really, and that's the other thing as well. I don't think people understand what their bodies are capable of until they actually push their body to limits, because it's human nature. If something hurts or if something's hard, like, no, push that away, fuck that, don't do it kind of thing. When you make yourself do the hard thing, like it's that self of like that self-accomplishment kind of feeling that you get from it. So like I said, you're gonna have days where you're gonna be motivated, you're gonna have days where you don't feel like going to the gym. That's all gonna be part of it. But the self-development that you gain from going to the gym, the life skills that you gain from going to the gym, not just that, man. You meet awesome people at the gym. I've got friends all around Australia. Like, it's how you and me have become friends as well. Like, it's through the whole fitness thing as well. So, yeah, like when you break it down, the whole fitness Australia and like fitness around the world, everyone is on their own journey, but everyone is actively working on themselves to be a better version of themselves with other people around them. That's pretty fucking awesome, if you ask me, man.
And I think so. I think that it's also important that the community it's helping each other. You know, like I
Yeah,
think that's
exactly,
another
man.
thing, which is
So,
very positive.
and that's the one thing that like I guess a lot of people in our generation struggle with. It's almost the mindset like, well, like I can't win if you're winning kind of thing. Whether like it should be like everyone's gonna like win at what they're doing. Like just because you're doing well doesn't mean that I can't do well as well. So, and that comes down to who you surround yourself with. But like I said, like, and if you got a good support crew, you meet good people through training in the gym. There's a lot of fitness communities in there as well. Yeah, like it's good people supporting other people, man. So yeah, that'd be my biggest tip. Find a decent gym to sign up with, find a couple of mates to go and train with, and like really just enjoy it.
Le pregunto a James que cuál es ya una vez que cuáles son los logros y cuál es la transformación mediante tener una actividad física. Y él me comenta que no solamente es una cuestión física la transformación, sino también es una cuestión mental, porque te puedes, mediante el ejercicio y mediante una vida activa, puedes lograr tener una seguridad en ti mismo, puedes tener pues te sientes más en confort contigo mismo, más en confianza contigo y donde puedes tener más, cada vez más vas teniendo más motivación al hacer las cosas. También comenta que no solamente es una cuestión de individuo, sino también una cuestión de grupal, porque a medida que tú vas haciendo pues actividad, vas conociendo gente, vas haciendo amigos y pues de esta manera pues vas haciendo una comunidad y que entre esta comunidad pues se apoyan mutuamente, ¿no? Porque si uno crece, crece el otro y de esa manera pues se van apoyando. Entonces hay muchos beneficios en cuestión de una transformación cuando pues hacemos actividad física. James, here when you talk and you say like there's emotional and mental transformation, but also physical transformation, what do you think is the first thing happens? The mental or the physical transformation?
It's usually physical. Like people start to notice their body change and then start to notice their body change shape. And like I think when you physically, you might not necessarily physically see it. It's usually someone else who physically sees it and they say something to you, and then you kind of go, "Oh shit!" Like people are noticing like what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I think that's the first instance where people like start to be like, "Oh, it's like what I'm doing is working," kind of thing, and then they start seeing their body change themselves, and obviously it's that self accomplishment. So like you feel like you've put in the work and like you're starting to see results from it, so you feel good about yourself. So you feel good about yourself because you're putting in the work and you're seeing the results, so you start to be more confident, you feel happier, and that's kind of how it just kind of flows from there, man. Like it almost snowballs from there. So yeah, it'll be other people that will notice your body change before you do. You'll start to notice your body change as well,
Yeah,
which
that's
makes you
true.
feel good because the work that you're putting in is obviously working. And then kind of just snowballs from there, man. Because like I wasn't that like when I was like 16, 17, like I wasn't overly like outspoken person. I wasn't overly not crazy confident by any means. And then like I said, over the years, as like I've become more confident in like who I am, with how I look, with what I stand for. Yeah, I'm probably one of the most confident, outspoken people that you'll meet. So, but yeah, like I said, like yeah, and that's that like what you touched on. That's that fitness journey. That's from like where you start from to where you are now. Like
Mhm.
if I didn't go to the gym, I would not be the person that I am now, and I wouldn't be able to affect and help people in the way
Same,
that I do now. So yeah,
same.
it's a cool journey that you go on. But yeah, like I said, I think the first person that's going to notice is usually like one of your friends will start to notice, and then you'll start to notice your body change. That's when you see yourself change and you can physically and visually see a difference in your body. That's when you're going to kind of like start to like yeah,
I
kind of
can.
radiate, start to feel good about yourself. Yeah.
All right. Le preguntaba a James que cuál era ya que está haciendo una transformación, cuál era lo primero, que se veía como transformación, si veíamos primero el cambio físico o el cambio mental o emocional. Y me comenta James que lo primero que vemos es el cambio físico, pero muchas veces ni siquiera lo vemos nosotros, sino lo ve gente afuera o externo a nosotros, y es cuando nos dicen, oye, ¿sabes qué? Te ves, bajaste de peso, o te ves más musculoso, o te ves bien, ¿no? Físicamente, y es cuando entonces tú empiezas a sentirte bien y empiezas a entender que hay cambios y empiezas a entender que sí hay resultados con lo que estás haciendo. Entonces, dice que es sumamente importante tener y seguir esta línea de hacer ejercicio, pues para simplemente hacer que las cosas sucedan. So James, I really, really, really appreciate all this conversation that we have. Thank you very much. So if anyone wants to contact you, anyone wants to see you, or where can we find you?
If you look at my social media, man, it's just at Jamie Skippen. My coaching business, we're kind of relaunching the website right now. So I got some pretty cool stuff planned for New Year's. So I've taken a step away from what I was doing for my other job so that I can pretty much do the whole coaching thing full time. So my website's going to have pretty much everything on there. So it'll have training programs, 12-week programs, what you and Mesh are doing right now. Like literally everything you could think of that you're going to ever want to need will be on there. I'm going to make an effort to post blogs and stuff every week. So there'll be information on there for people who are new to the gym, people that are experienced in the gym, just things that you can take away and put into your daily training or daily life. There'll be a blog every week that's going to be updated on that website. So there'll be plenty of information that, like I said, along with bodybuilding.com and muscle and strength, like you'll be able to jump on my website and there'll be heaps of just different pieces of information on there that you can go and learn from. Because like I said, when I was 17 years old, like I jumped online, I watched what Phil Heath was doing and I read all these articles, and there's a lot of things like you touched on TikTok, on Facebook, on Instagram that do contradict each other. And
Yeah, exactly.
You kind of feel like you've just got all this information coming in and you don't know what's right, what's wrong. Whereas if you could go to one place where you knew the information was genuine, it would make life a lot easier. So that's what I kind of plan on doing with the new website. So that's going to be called All Elite Coaching. So yeah.
And this is going to come on next year on 2020?
I'm hopefully around like hopefully the start of January. So like when the new year rolls in, obviously everyone likes getting stuck into the gym for the new year. But yeah, hopefully by the time New Year rolls around, it'll be ready to go by January.
Good. Le pregunto a James que cuáles son sus redes sociales, dónde lo podemos encontrar, y bueno, obviamente comenta que sus redes sociales, van a aparecer ahí tanto en pantalla como en los comentarios, pero comenta que también cualquier información que quieran buscar se basen en bodybuilding.com, y también pronto en enero va a estar lanzando su nuevo material en las redes para que los estén pendientes y lo sigan y vean todo lo que está haciendo en su blog, porque va a presentar rutinas y entrenamientos en línea. Así que los invita a él a que lo sigan. Pues, obviamente es sin duda un máster en fitness, así que bueno, síganlo. James, thank you very much for being here with us.
Yeah, bro, for sure. Anytime, man. Anytime.
Thank you, James. Thank you very much. See you next time.
Too easy, bro. I'll chat to you next time.
Bye-bye.